transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and you deserve to know the 3 healthy anxiety hypnosis perks for 2022, because people are tired of being so friggin' fabulous and triggering a 25% increase in the prevalence of anxiety worldwide, and you deserve to know the truth about what can be achieved with hypnosis for managing anxiety. I'm not a therapist or a psychotherapist, but this is my 9th year as a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. And as you already know, anxiety can have different components. And maybe you've experienced some of these aspects, like it can feel like your emotions are spinning round, or maybe lacking a bit of sleep. And that can be a leading indicator of anxiety. And as you know, some doctors have already coined the term corona insomnia or COVID insomnia, but please seek a professional opinion from a doctor if you're unsure if you're suffering from anxiety. And what clients seem to dislike most about anxiety is it just comes over them, and you deserve to unleash your inner calm. And it reminds me of a client, without giving too much away. He was a big, tough bloke, sitting there with his arms crossed, wearing an AC/DC t-shirt, grumpy face, and I think his first words to me were, "What do you fucking want?" And his lovely wife had arranged the appointment to see if I could assist her husband with his huge mood swings, from anxiety to almost depression. He was under the care of a doctor, but things were bad, and he would normally go to the hospital and stay there for a few days to get better and return home. But due to COVID, the hospital was too busy and they had to find a way to manage at home, and they found me. But by the time they found me, they were going a bit bonkers and willing to try anything. It turns out his life had always been this way. Things were never going to fucking change. And this cognitive pattern is known as stable attribution, when you find yourself thinking that things will never change. This client's anxiety was so intense that it felt like 40 DVDs were playing on him at the same time. It was an overwhelming feeling with visuals and sounds, and all he wanted to do was to get back to normal, go back to work and get a job driving a truck. The truth is, I was surprised he hadn't completely lost it. In fact, he was far more in control of himself than he thought he was, and after our hypnotherapy sessions, he was able to remain calm for most of the day. In fact, his wife and kids had never seen him that calm. And it reminds me of another client, again, without giving too much away. The client was in their 70s. They were unable to sleep. They had a fear of dying in their sleep. They were so terrified, they insisted that one of their 50-year-old children would sleep beside them, in bed. The client was under the care of a doctor. They had tried all the different sleeping pills and other forms of therapy, and all of this woman's 50-year-old children had taken turns sleeping in the same bed as their mother, thinking the issue would go away. But they had been functioning like this for months, maybe even half a year, taking turns staying over at mum's. It was getting all a bit ridiculous for everyone. But she was very brave. Most people in their 70s are terrified of hypnosis. Even though the first time I hypnotized her, all 4 of her 50-year-old children were there to watch me, and that raised the pressure for me to perform ever so slightly. But she was very brave. And once I explained in a polite way that in order to live another day, you kinda need to sleep and allow your body to heal, because not allowing that to happen is a guaranteed way to shorten your lifespan. The woman slowly, after a few sessions, could fall asleep easily by herself. And as you probably know, how people think when they have anxiety is different for everyone. But here are the 3 healthy anxiety hypnosis perks for 2022. Perk 1 for the out-of-nowhere panic attack. You just can't beat Jeffrey Zeig, head of the Milton Erickson Foundation, a wonderful technique for if you're in the middle of a panic attack or feel one coming on. First, find things that are true and real. One thing you can see, like the sky. Find a sound you can hear, like the traffic. Find one thing you can feel, like you know your feet are on the floor. And repeat 3 times. One thing you can see, one thing you can hear, one thing you can feel, like the wind blowing on your face. Perk 2, for rumination. If you're ruminating thoughts or spinning emotions round and round, you need to find a way to distance yourself. But this is really tricky, and you'll just love the crystal ball technique. Imagine a crystal ball in your right hand, and that crystal ball has a tiny earth in it. You can imagine climate change in there. You can make it summer, winter, spring. Allow all of your feelings and thoughts to flow down your arm and into that crystal ball now. Now imagine a tiny you inside that crystal ball, and you can watch the tiny you have those thoughts and those feelings from a great distance. What people love about the crystal ball technique is their thoughts and feelings are clearer, more detached. They get a new perspective. Perk 3, intolerance for the unknown, not knowing, ambiguity, needs a self-soothing strategy. You kinda can't think yourself out of this one. Ambiguity and not knowing invites your creative mind to go a bit nuts. You can ask several people a question like, why didn't you get the job you always wanted? And one might say, it's because no one likes me. Someone else might say, I think all the companies in that industry are mean. Someone else might say, because they might not have the correct qualifications. But the truth is, all of those answers were wrong. None of them knew why they didn't get the job they always wanted. None of them investigated all the other candidates they were up against, or how that particular industry thinks when they hire people, what the management teams were thinking, or what qualifications were needed at that time. The best technique for not knowing is to say, I don't know. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it go. So what if you chose to think about anxiety hypnosis differently? But what if you didn't? The choice is yours.